We play and call it work.
Hey there, Wargamers, and welcome to another episode of the Reroll. First off, we're all going to say sorry for not getting these out sooner. It has just been a super busy couple months.
Yeah.
So as usual, it's myself, MiniWarGamer Leland, here with MiniWarGamer Steve and MiniWarGamer Quirk. And today we are going to be discussing things along the lines of community involvement and basically how that keeps us involved with the hobby and basically how it keeps us going. So the first thing I think the first thing we should all probably talk about is discussing things like how we engage with commenters and posters and fans and all that sort of stuff.
The hard part of the day, the dreaded part of the day, the scary part of the day, the fun part of the day, the loving part of the day. But I'm going back to the scary part of the day. Mm-hmm. Today I filmed the sit and talk with Matthew, and we touched on this topic a little bit this morning. But yeah, no. Again, I'm gonna say it's a painful part of the day sometimes.
Other times it's very enjoyable.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing.
Very enjoyable.
There's way more positive than negative, but
Well, it also depends on the comments you're reading. If you're on YouTube, that's a scary place.
Yeah. I think it's pretty well common knowledge at this point that YouTube is just a breeding ground for hatred. No, it's not that bad, but it's that bad.
Has its moments.
I think it's one of those things. I think we're actually blessed with a pretty positive community overall.
Oh yeah.
And when I say our community, I'm not referring to wargaming in general. I'm referring more to the people who follow us at MiniWarGaming. Generally speaking, I would say most of the people who comment, who get involved, are really good. They want to contribute positively, and they're really quite supportive.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
A lot of the time.
We don't get a lot of negative comments on MiniWarGaming. We get more constructive comments, things like, future reference, like for example, with my orc campaign, or not even the orc campaign, just me playing orcs in general. For the longest time, I thought Ludas had 2 wounds, and that was everyone's giggling at me.
That's okay.
No,
Matthew thought a Necron vehicle had armor 15.
That's true.
So,
12 plus 2 equals 15.
Yeah,
I love that math. So,
yeah,
there we go.
There it is.
No, it was, I was using Army Builder, I printed off the list, and I was going down, I'm just like, okay, how many wounds do they have? And I'm like, okay, wounds. I slipped over, and I looked at the initiative, I was like, oh, they have 2, that's awesome for the amount of points they are, this is great. And I played a handful of games, and finally one opponent was like, no, they're 1 wound. I'm like, oh.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yep, that happens.
My bad.
I think we've all done that at one time or another as well. Like there's been that one little moment, and we get I don't want to say we get caught by the community, but
we get caught by the community.
We do. We most certainly do.
I know, but saying get caught, it makes it feels like we're trying to get a gotcha in on them, which we're not.
No, we're not.
And it's just one of those moments they catch those little slip ups, those little mistakes, and it just causes you to sit back for a moment and kind of go, oh.
And the reason why I dread it so much is because
you do it so much.
Well, there's that. Absolutely. I want to reply to you guys, and I don't know how to do it not coming off argumentative, and that's never my intention. So I don't want to start every comment I write with, I don't want to start argumentative, but so and that's the thing. That's why I don't I tend not to reply as much. I mean, I replied to. There was a comment a few battle reports ago for myself, which I generally don't do, is about somebody trying to correct a rule about armor saves, and I had to reply because I don't know if it was I didn't play past editions, so he may have been thinking something from past editions or just old errors or whatever. I replied to him in regards to how the armor save rules work for vehicles, and I was the whole time I'm typing this thing, I'm really worried that I'm coming off as I'm attacking this guy. I'm like, was never my intention. I don't think it came off that way, but it could to him or some people.
Armor save for vehicles?
Cover saves.
Okay.
Cover saves.
All right, there we go.
Cover saves. Sorry. And another one I replied to recently was there was an error in editing with a battle report that I'm pretty sure it was mine because. Not to sound vain or nothing, those are only comments I'm going to read. I'm not going to read comments on everybody else's video. We just don't have time in the day for that. So there's something about blackness in a video for 30 minutes, and there was one, I'll say gentleman, very intent that we did this thing on purpose to hide the length of the video. And somebody tried to talk with him, like, hey, they're not going to do it on purpose. If they are, it's not malicious or whatever. It's like, no, I know for sure this is intentional. And it was a minor editing error. I explained how it goes, and I'm always worried about when we correct those type of things, is it going to come off as if we're trying to be rude or arrogant about it? And that's not never the intention.
Yeah.
No, I think it's one of those things. Like you say, you don't want to come off argumentative and whatnot. I find the best approach for that, at least when I get involved, and I was actually kind of pleased to hear that this is something I'm kind of becoming a little bit known for as well. I'll jump into the comments, and the first thing I'll do is I'll either acknowledge the mistake or I'll acknowledge the issue and whatnot, instead of just jumping right out the bat and saying either you're wrong and this is why you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'll jump in and say, okay, I see what you're saying. I see the point here. Like, I see what you're trying to do. And I mean, if I'm wrong, I'll look it up in the rules.
Yeah.
And if I happen to be right, I'll just calmly put a small little message in there and whatnot. But I love the fact, right or wrong, I love the fact that people are commenting on this.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It has been a great boon for me learning Infinity, because I kind of had to dive headfirst into that one.
Yeah.
So
we don't know what we're doing wrong unless you point it out. I mean,
exactly.
It's very easy to be like, oh, I'm used to doing it this way. I think I'm doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think every hobby or every community has bad habits.
Do you guys ever get where you'll have something happen in a game? I'm going to use War Machine as an example here, where there was a game that I played, and I was using the War Room, and I built my list. And normally War Room is very good for letting you bring what you can and what you can't. And I mixed it up and accidentally brought a theme list. Where
Army Builder does give you some options every now and then that aren't actually legal or valid.
Yeah, and I wasn't paying that much attention to it. I was just kind of like, okay, this actually looks like a really cool list, and I brought it. And the first comment I got was, that's not a legal list. And the thing was, I hadn't had a chance to actually go and read the comments. So by the time I actually looked at it, there was already a huge discussion about what probably happened. And it basically went from, you can't bring that list, why would you bring that list? Oh, you can bring it in Army Builder. Well, it's not correct, you have to read the rules. And basically the entire conversation went down to, okay, well, here's pretty much what most likely happened. Will you guys then at that point respond to the comment saying, that's actually exactly what happened, guys, sorry for the mistake? Or will you just let, like, if someone figures it out, just kind of...
I'm trying to personally follow Lynn's example in the area where I acknowledge them. Now, there was one very recently I was actually embarrassed about. I think you already knew this one, where I blatantly cheated on camera. Totally unintentional. I wouldn't cheat intentionally while holding the camera on my finger while I'm doing it. Where I talk about the Land Raider.
Oh yeah, you moved
One
the
my
turn.
Land Raider it was a Dark Angels battle report for Warhammer 40k. My Land Raider is moving through some buildings, and all of a sudden it can't fit. So I'm just talking, and I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm like, I'll just take my finger here and I'll slide this building over, and I'll just move them on through. That's not okay. But at the time, I'm not thinking about that. I'm walking and chewing gum here. I'm moving. I'm talking to you guys. I'm moving my land. Oh, this doesn't fit. Now he fits.
Yeah,
it's not intentional. So when the guy commented on it, I'm like, nobody said anything. Nobody supported him or said anything against him. I just got embarrassed. I'm like, ugh, he's totally right. I'm going to ignore this and pretend it never happened.
Well, that's the thing. When we're actually filming these things, we have about half a dozen things going on in our heads.
Absolutely. We're having an off-camera conversation.
Yep.
We're playing the game. We're talking to the camera. Yeah.
Like there's so many things going on.
One of the biggest things is that you have to try and understand that in between clips, there's a huge time gap sometimes. So we try and remember what the last thing we said was and try and make it a little bit more of a conversation.
All right.
Exactly.
So that's another thing too, is that when we're recording, it's just like, click, I'm going to then move this model this way. Click, talk with your opponent, do this,
How would
do
you
that.
drive up here?
Oh, it's lunchtime.
Oh,
Oh, great.
we're
We're gonna go to lunch. Okay, come back. Click. I forgot what I was doing. Click. What just happened?
You gotta
Check
watch
the
the last
camera.
clip.
Gotta watch the last clip. Do it all over again. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
The
between
average
it.
battle report takes about, I think the average is about 2.5 hours, but it's more like 3 hours or 4 hours for Warhammer 40k.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with it.
So when you consider certain tournaments and things like that, where people can play 2,000 points of 40k in an hour and a half, 2 hours, in a tournament setting, and then
we're lucky to get a turn done in that time.
Yeah, and then you've got like War Machines the same way with Death Clock. Both players get an hour to kind of play it out, and when I've seen how long some of my battle reports take to film, it's like there's no way we could do this with a Death Clock, because it would be click start the clock, don't even move, click stop the card, like that's
no, it wouldn't be possible.
No, it's
too much. But I mean, it's that whole thing just goes back to what we're all trying to keep track of. Like you mentioned with going for lunch and coming back.
that's a big one, by the
Oh,
way.
that is a big one. But I feel I should just jump in here because you mentioned something that that the viewers caught you on, or not caught you on, but pointed out, and Steve mentioned something. I know I had something similar happen to me actually twice, once at the beginning of the summer and once just recently. I was running an independent character in 40k in a unit with monstrous creatures, And I ran this for, I think, about 6 or 8 videos. And it was pointed out in the very first video I did this. Like, the very first video. But by that point, I had already filmed about a dozen more videos after that. And I had no clue which ones actually had that particular instance in. So I started seeing comments where people would mention, like, you can't do this. This is against the rules. And then the next video, why are you still doing this? Like, do you not read the comments? Or you're not paying attention?
Absolutely. See, now, again, we were saying, I think Leonard said it, we want those comments. We actually need those comments. We need those comments.
Keep us honest.
It may scare me, but I need those comments. We all need them. But that actually happened. Well, I can think of 3 instances where it's happened to me very recently where you're playing a new army. And every game we play is on camera. We don't play these games off. We can't play them off camera.
It's been a long time, yeah.
So we're learning on camera, hoping to do our best, not just screw it up. So I played a couple games of Warhammer Fantasy with Tomb Kings. For 4 games, I had this whole army marching. They can't do that. Let alone when some characters die, certain things happen. I didn't use those rules whatsoever.
You kept forgetting your army to crumble.
Exactly.
Yeah,
detrimental rules. New army I completely forgot about. I had played, I think, 6. By the time you're seeing this video, I think they all know now. But I played 6 Dark Angels battle reports incorrectly with formations. I made a clip after the 6th one was done to insert to every battle report, but for some reason it never made it to them. Where I say I introduced this army as whatever detachment. It's unbound because you can't actually do that. Like it was a mistake that I caught after doing 6 battle reports because they all get filmed within a week. For me, these battle reports came out for you guys last week. For me, I filmed them 3 or 4 months ago.
A long time ago. I think this was just after the new Dark Angel book came out.
Yeah. So it was quite a while ago. Now our Warhammer 40k battle reports come out way after we film. Our Infinity, our War Machine, our Warhammer Fantasy battle reports come out days after we film them.
Sometimes that day.
Sometimes that day. Sometimes we film in the morning and put up in the afternoon. Those come out we're squeezing those games in between all the 40k bookings.
Yeah.
And there's so much 40k that we make a mistake on one battle report. It doesn't get caught by you guys until we film 6 other ones.
Yeah.
So my Dark Eldar battle reports are coming up next. By the time this comes out, it could be actually coming out this week. In every one of those battle reports at the beginning, I'm positive I say, here's another Dark Eldar battle report. I filmed a bunch of games, but the time I'm filming this intro, you haven't seen this game yet. So if I made a mistake in the last game, I'm going to make it again in this one. I said it every time. Just to try to preempt it.
Yeah. And it's not because we're trying to keep engagement down.
No,
that's the big thing right there. We're trying to get to a point where actually all the engagement is just nothing but great engagement, like great positive things. Like instead of you guys having to always watch us with a fine-tooth comb, we're hoping to eventually get to the point where our engagement is going to be more like, hey, that was really cool. What if you were to do stuff like this as well?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm hoping for.
Like I filmed the 20 orc battle reports, and they were just kind of sitting waiting for everything to get a long time to get everything finished. And granted, the difference in my ability to play from my first game to my 20th and then the campaign with Matt has greatly improved. But there's still the first one that came out. You guys are picking up on stuff that I still didn't even know I was doing wrong. So even though we say you'll point something out that we already know about, still point it out because we might not know.
Yeah.
So
well, I think this whole conversation is heading towards one question we're coming to ask you guys. Now, not a majority of the community doesn't actually comment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But those of you who do you want us? I know this is probably a yes, but do you want us to respond to everything? Would it come off as defensive? And that's not the case I ever want to come off as. We read. I know we all do, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we all read everything in our battle reports.
I try.
I
struggle with letters.
No, what I mean, whatever. if you typed a comment within, let's say, 7 days of a video being released, we've probably read that comment. Mm-hmm. We may not respond, but we've read it. When we're hearing
we've read that comment, we've analyzed it, we've gotten worried about it.
We checked each other. What do you think this guy means?
There's shame eating involved.
Yes.
There's no comma there. That's a whole sentence. He could be really mad right now.
Is he upset? Should I change something? Somebody else taking with.
But no, it's one of those things. Yeah, like we always try to read within 7 days, but at the same time, there's that moment where we can no longer really go back to old.
Oh no, that's what I mean.
Well.
It's only the first few days. 7 days are the most.
Yeah.
If you comment on something that's been up for over a week, there's zero chance we've read it. Well, for me anyway. Zero chance.
Yeah, it's just it's not feasible for us to keep going back.
No.
Not with the amount of videos that we put out and whatnot. But I want to change focus a little bit here. So still with the community engagement thing, what about engaging on the forums? Like I know I jump on there every so often. Do you guys?
I don't even know where a forum button is on the web. Like, I don't go on it at all. At all.
Top.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've never looked for it.
It's the button that says
this
forums.
is it right here.
Yeah.
You go here.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've never been on it.
I've jumped on it a couple times. There's one that I read in the War Machine forum where someone was asking if I'm going to be starting another War Machine league. With everything that's kind of going on at the moment, I'm going to say no, just because we've got all the campaigns going on. We've got everything kind of winding down, and we're just getting out of the summer season, so everything's kind of...
Let's get the rest of this year done over with and see, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Not that it couldn't possibly come up, but at this point, that's pretty much where I'm at. But that's the only comment that I've seen related to anything that I cover. I totally have been scouring the forums, though, for, like, orc tactics, because why not?
The forums or our forums, or what are the forums you use?
I use ours, mostly because that way I know what our community is looking for.
Is ours a very active forum?
It has its moments. Our 40K forum is actually pretty good. There's a lot of good posting going on there. Yeah. So some of the other ones are a little bit more
Can we
dead.
just take a pause for a second? Because this is really... Can you take it off now? It's driving me nuts. Continue.
I don't know. Like when I asked the question, I wasn't so much thinking about like specifically with us, but I was just thinking like,
I'm cold,
I was just thinking like, how do you guys interact with the various communities out there? Because I know one of the things I've done with Infinity is
my hair.
I've gone to as many different Infinity groups as I can. Like there's a bunch on Facebook I'm a part of, a bunch of different forums, and I'll share our battle reports there. I'll talk to some guys there and try and be involved.
I think without knowing exactly what's going on in those forums, they're probably a good idea and probably something we should be doing. The forums I do go on and read stuff. The two that I'm on regularly are Daka and Warseer. I don't comment. I don't reply. I don't even log in. I just read. I never go on the MiniWarGaming one. And actually, now that you guys mentioned, I actually have no idea why. I should probably take a look what's going on in there. And as far as you engaging the specific communities, yeah, we probably should be doing that. I got a reason why I haven't yet. What have you taken away from say the Infinity community?
Well, the Infinity community has actually been really good because it's been they've caught things that some of our own community members don't catch because. Like, we have to be honest, like, a lot of people, at least on MiniWarGaming, they're looking at our Infinity content usually as a gateway. This might be their first interaction with it.
Sure.
So by sharing it outwards, like either YouTube or going to the Infinity groups or sharing on various forums, I'm putting it out to another group of people who might catch things that our regulars don't catch, or they might see different interactions. Or they might even just offer up some constructive criticism or comments on what they might like to see.
And you've been active as MiniWarGamer Leland on these forums? Or are you anonymous, a different name? Like,
well, I have my general forum name, which it's pretty much the same on all the forums I'm a part of. For most people who've seen me comment, they know I go by the screen name Aegis, Aegis, okay, right? So they'll see that on the MiniWarGaming forums. That's what I am over at Bella Lost Souls and amongst other places.
And sometimes me, apparently.
And sometimes you, apparently. Yeah, there's been a couple times where I've logged in thinking I'm logged in under mine, and I've been logged in under Steve's. So if you see Steve replying to like a fan or
if you
to
see
an
a
Infinity,
well-articulated comment, it wasn't made by me.
but otherwise, I mean, a lot of them are also Facebook groups now.
And how much are you finding Facebook to be? How useful are those?
For Infinity, actually, Facebook has been a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a great community I've been a part of. It's about 1,500 members strong right now.
Oh wow!
And it's a very active community. For anyone interested in checking it out, it's actually WGC Infinity on Facebook. Really good group of people. They know what's going on. Lots of activity, and tons of stuff getting posted there all the time. And I'm there on a daily basis, checking things out and talking with them. And they've basically kept me honest and kept me getting inspired to learn more stuff.
What are the things discussed in those? Like, is it rule interpretations? Is it?
I don't find, at least in Infinity, there's not as many issues with rules interpretations. It seems like it's a pretty clear, cut and dry type of thing a lot of the time. Although there is some weird interactions because we are waiting on getting Human Sphere N3 updated, and then of course there's going to be Akron Falls, which is another campaign supplement coming out. So there's some stuff there, but Chorus Belli does a pretty good job with keeping pretty concise rules, or at least giving a ruling on it pretty quickly. So it's actually a lot of discussion about the hobby. People will post lists, they'll ask for suggestions, or they'll post painting on there, or they're, in my case, share battle reports and whatnot. But it's been really good, and it's really helped my my love of the game thrive as a result, because I know content is going out to people who are watching it and enjoying it and that sort of stuff. So,
yeah, I'm just thinking about the internet, social media, and all that kind of stuff. How important it all is right now, and how narrow. I'm stuck on MiniWarGaming. Not that was kind of weird to say. What I mean is, I read MiniWarGaming stuff, read their stuff. I use some of the, you know what? I'm gonna get away from this whole.
I think.
I think. Go ahead.
I think what it is that we all find ourselves in little ruts or niches or something like that when it comes to
More of a comfort zone.
Okay, yeah. That actually
Yeah.
works a lot better. And I think the whole idea is just breaking out of that comfort
Yeah.
zone and getting out there, engaging with the community. And it doesn't matter if you're engaging as MiniWarGamer Steve or just Steve, right? The mountain, yeah. I think, and it's a very important thing is getting out there and having that in community engagement. It's talking with the crowd, seeing what other people are talking about. Well, think about the amount of discussions we've had regarding rules and whatnot that have been sparked because you've been somewhere and you've seen some sort of weird little rules discussion pop up, and that then prompts a discussion in the studio, followed by a fist fight, followed by another discussion.
Yeah.
And
all those things.
And that's the sort of engagement that I'm thinking of.
Yeah. So. I'm active on a couple forums and our comment section. I read, but I'm not. I guess active is not the right word. I read, but I don't engage. You read and engage.
Try to anyway.
For the most part, I just read. There are some scenarios where I will engage, just if it's a. For the most part, the only time I've ever really engaged is just if someone's asking a question about something and no one's really answered it for them. That's kind of when I'll jump in and be like, okay, I've seen this has been here for a day. No one's really answered that question. I'll answer it. But for the most part, if someone says, oh, you got this rule wrong, I kind of make a mental note. Okay, I'll acknowledge that and make sure I don't do it again. But I'm not. It's not that I'm not thankful for it. It's just I don't take the time to say, wow, thank you, because by that point in time, I've already gotten 4 more comments down and found something else that I made a mental note of, and then 4 more comments down. I made another one and another one.
So you're like me. You're kind of using it. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're using it to correct errors and things you've not.
Exactly.
Okay. Should we be using it differently?
I think, well, for the most part, I know this doesn't really apply to, well, it does apply, but it's not going to kind of be that individual thank you, but it just as a general thing, guys, thank you so much for all of your comments on for the most part, because without it, we wouldn't be able to notice a lot of these errors that we're making because we're so close to the forest, we can't see the trees.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but basically, we do want to say thank you for that, because we can't learn from it unless you guys are pointing these things out. But at the same time, it takes a lot out of our day to do those individual thank yous to every single comment when you consider how many comments we get and how many times somebody will say, for example, say we rolled an armor save and it was a 5+ and we made the mistake of thinking it was a 4+, and then 5 people all went, well, that was a 5+, that was a 5+, that was a 5+. We can't really go and say, well, thank you.
Yeah.
It gets to that point where it's almost a little bit redundant.
I think that's also a failing of our current system, which is actually being overhauled, which is really nice. Mm-hmm. But we have no way of directly replying.
No.
And we have no way of getting notification when we have been replied to. Mm-hmm. And even something as simple as that.
It's still the at whatever your name is.
Yeah. And there's no guarantee that somebody's going to go back and read that after the fact.
Exactly.
Because I would imagine a lot of our commenters are probably like us. They'll read it, and then they'll go off and do something else. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, we'll go back a couple more times over the course of a week or so. But generally speaking, we don't have that guarantee that we're going to respond to somebody's comment or criticism or concerns and know that they're going to read it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's one failing with it.
And that's what I thought we were going to talk about at the beginning of this is how do we engage you guys more, and beyond the whole comment section, what can we do?
Well, we have our emails. I mean,
there's
everyone knows what our emails are.
We always have plenty of conversation.
All we ask is be polite. Like we will always read your emails. We'll try to respond to them. But if we get something that's just hateful and spiteful and not from Justin, we will we might just pass it by.
It
So
gets printed and put it on the refrigerator.
yeah.
This is the one I got today.
But yeah, I mean, you can always drop us an email as well. We'll try to get to it, obviously. But yeah, just be polite, be kind, and we'll try to respond.
I'm gonna respond more to the comments, and if I come off angry or argumentative, I'm really not. So just I
You need emojis.
Right, just more smiley faces.
more-
Just use like a mountain emoji.
No, sir, you are wrong. Smiley face. This is why you were wrong. Smiley face.
Throwing a winky face.
Ooh, winky face. No.
Smiley, winky, unicorn, horseshoe.
And then
Star asterisk, smiling the entire time while saying the star asterisk.
every time somebody, oh, you're right, I did get that wrong. Sad face. Oh, you're right, I did get that wrong. Sad face. Just do that. Respond to every one of them. I'm sorry. Sad face.
Just write an automatic script. After every comment, just MiniWarGamer Steve, I'm sorry.
It's like your achievement thing. You got it. It's like,
You got it.
I got
Yeah,
it wrong.
seriously, you got it. Ding ding.
Actually, I think that's a good segue. How do you guys handle the negative comments? And I don't mean like the ones where somebody's pointing out you got
Poorly.
something wrong, but the ones where
The hate.
where sometimes it just seems like it's hate.
Okay, so we don't get much hate. We get no hate on the website.
No.
YouTube, you get some of it. The personal emails are entertaining.
I'll stop sending them.
So like I have to.
But then it's just Justin.
Oh, it's my worker Justin. Never mind. File that one in the trash. How do you deal
You
with
mean,
it?
you mean the first two comments you got in your sit and talk?
Yeah, it was both you and Justin. I don't know. There's nothing you can do. If you want to work here, you have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you handle your first one? If you remember.
I can say I don't remember. I can remember a few instances of remembering when I joke around about having new guy armor, where when you're new here, everybody loves you and you can do no wrong.
And I just lost it.
That's gonna wear off very soon.
And he officially has probably just cracked his own. So we've all had it, and then it goes away slowly. I can't remember the first thing that when I first realized, oh, my armor's gone. I don't remember. Oh, I remember what it was. The first crack in the armor was from 4chan. And I'm not gonna,
Oh jeez.
I'm not going to repeat it. But it was a very hilarious post describing every one of the employees here at MiniWarGaming with just a short one-liner. And mine was very kind, but it was very kind, but it was the first crack in the armor, and slowly there's more stuff coming in about me. You ignore it. You ignore it and you laugh at it. I mean, there's somebody used to work here that used to just he'd feed off of it. He'd print them up all over his desk and just hang them there. This guy said this. He's my new best friend. Like some of us love it, some of us hate it, and you just got to deal with it.
Have you gotten anything yet, Cork?
New guy armor, man.
No, I've been getting a little bit.
Oh, it's starting to crack, eh?
Yeah. People making fun of my hair.
Oh, well, that's ridiculous.
That's Steve's engaging on the community.
I was gonna say,
That's my problem. I don't mean that angrily or hateful. I'm just saying, factually, it's ridiculous. So how do you deal with the hate in the office?
I don't. You've seen me try and deal with the hate in the office. I get shoved into boxes and cupboards.
You do take a lot of abuse.
I do.
He deserves it.
I'm not going to step on that one, but
Back on topic.
back on topic.
Hate comments, I haven't gotten too many of them. I've gotten the odd one here and there where it's just like, I've gotten so many rules wrong that I don't know the game, why am I playing it? Stuff like that. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like, okay.
Everybody send Quirk some love mail. He can use some right now. Because I mean, remember, like the majority of people that if people didn't like what we did, we wouldn't be maintaining the vault signs. We wouldn't have the subscribers and then the viewers.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody likes it enough that we're also employed here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the some that don't want to be vocal about it.
Look, man, I want to be the very best. Like no one ever was. They're both
This is
cringing.
why I hit him.
I need my hat.
No, you've lost that privilege.
So Leland, you had an issue in the past, which actually was kind of
funny.
kind of funny.
Kind
It
of
was
funny.
kinda funny.
Obviously, I'm not gonna mention
we
names
can't.
or whatnot. But yeah, there was one guy who just for a little while who was just hounding me left, right, and center. And this was very shortly after I joined the team. Actually,
Your armor cracked early.
my armor cracked early, and I
You were golden throughout the campaigns.
Yep.
Hired on? Nope.
Yep. It went away pretty fast. But yeah, this guy took every opportunity to just criticize me. Like on any Facebook post, there was criticisms. Went as far as to call me a scab because I appeared on Fantasy after Steve took over. I showed up on the Fantasy thing and I got called a scab, which was really funny because
When did you scab?
no, you brought me on and I played a game with you.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And this guy goes and calls me a scab and whatnot, and
That was funny.
the part that I
I actually
remember,
remember that whole.
the part that I remember most about it, and this is the part that really amuses me. Justin spent time responding to him.
Really?
And oh yeah, Justin spent time actually responding. It was all very, very polite stuff and whatnot. And this in turn led to him criticizing me further, saying that I needed
That's the thing.
I needed Justin to defend
That's-
me.
You.
One of the things-
Oh. What?
Yeah, it went further where the guy was criticizing me because Justin was coming in commenting under the perception that apparently I needed Justin to defend me and whatnot. It was a really
There
funny
is-
interaction as a result.
I almost probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it and see. Hope I don't get in trouble later. We have this little problem where we can't fight back because of it's a job for us. We have to remain professional. So our options are ignore it or don't work here. That's it.
Yeah.
Those are our options.
Yeah.
So there's sometimes you want to be like, yeah, you want to play this game? I can play with you too, but we can't.
Yeah, we have to bite our tongue every so often and
Just kind of take it.
develop a thick skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I came from retail, so I mean, I developed a thick skin very quickly.
Door-to-door vacuum salesman.
Well, you probably had to deal with more physical violence.
Yeah, I got hit a lot.
Really?
People are mean when you try and sell them stuff.
Wow.
So,
But
But,
that's
uh,
our 30 minutes.
Oh wow.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun. But you were saying something. At least finish that.
what was I? Oh yeah, I was just saying. We have to develop that thick skin pretty quickly to continue on with it because, as Steve said, I mean, we either work the job we're enjoying or we let it get to us and we go off and do something else.
Just so we don't end this on a negative note anyway. Like this is we all love being here. It's not like
Very
saying,
much.
oh, it's terrible. We have terrible lives. We have to listen to people hate on us all. It's not.
I guess I'll put the Pokemon hat back on.
It's so terrible. We have fun. We play games all day, every day. It's
And,
great.
and in fact, the negative stuff is in fact the vast minority.
The one thing we can pick on for this place, the one thing we can
Yeah.
criticize for this place, that's it. It's yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's definitely worse situations out there.
But on that note, guys, it is our 30 minutes of free content. If you're a Vault member, go ahead and click the link below. You'll get access to another 30 minutes where we continue this conversation, maybe broaden it out a little bit and change topics. You never know. Do you guys have any ideas for next week's topic?
I have yeah.
You do?
I'm not sharing right now.
No?
No.
Okay. So we have ideas for next week's topic, guys. Look forward to that. If you have a guess at what it might be, leave a comment below. If you have a suggestion for what it could be, please leave a comment below. We are always open to suggestions. As always, guys, Vault members, click that link. If you're not a Vault member, click it anyway, because you will get access to the other half of this Reroll episode. And you also get access to all the behind-the-scenes painting tutorials, extra battle reports, and all the fun stuff we do around here. So, until next time, guys, happy wargaming.